Good morning, everyone, and welcome to tea time, which I'm considering calling caffeine time. Mostly because it still rhymes. But that's basically all it is. In any case, today, updates. So, the sandbox is going nicely. A lot of players joining up and things like that. If you are interested in taking the professional approach to StarCraft, it doesn't matter if you're a Bronze League player and you want to take the professional approach, or you're a Grandmasters player and you want to take the professional approach. The approach is the same, and if you want to be serious about StarCraft improvement, join us at the sandbox. We're for serious, but seriously, that's what it's for. That's the point. Let's see. Staircase video. Step 2 for Protoss is done, and in the clip. Say, I don't know. It doesn't really. The metaphor doesn't really work that nicely. It's, oh yeah, it's in the clip. It's in the queue. Not much metaphor there. There's a better metaphor for it. So if you can think of one, leave it in the comments. But it's coming up. It's done. It's in there. Technically still in the review process, which I'm trying to hammer out because we had a review leak. So I'm trying to make sure that never happens again. And yeah, so Harstem. So in the process of talking to people about deliberate practice in the sandbox and things like that, started bumping into people. Mini Razor asked me for some hotkey help, and I was like, hey, what kind of training are you doing right now? Are you interested in learning about different ways of training that we believe to be better than just laddering? And he was like, oh, I play tons of custom games and, same matchups. And I'm like, whoa, what the, he already does this. Oh, wait, he's, round of 16, I think, in Premiere. It's like, well, okay, all right. And something he's been doing recently. And that comes, I think, from Harstem. But I had heard Harstem plays all the custom games, and they're both in Fnatic. And I was like, well, what about, does Harstem does the same thing? He's like, oh, yeah. And I was like, all right, well, we gotta talk to Harstem and see if he's interested in joining us. Gather together the deliberate practicers. And he already has this whole network for himself, his personal network of practice partners set up, and he knows the people. It's phenomenal. His setup is really phenomenal. He knows which players are good enough at which styles to challenge him, so that he can say, oh, I need help against, Roach Hydra play. This player, they can't challenge me if they're doing these styles, but if they do the Roach Hydra style, then I can get some good practice out of that, so I'm going to hit them up and stuff like that. And really, really detailed personal network that he's built up for himself. So it's he doesn't really benefit from a network of practice partners, which is part of what the sandbox is. And he said, so, I'm not really interested in that kind of a thing. We was like, well, we still have, mentality experts and multitasking experts and replay analysis that we can help you with to help you improve. I was like, oh, okay, that sounds interesting. I'll give it a shot. And at the time, was it Stork or Rain? I think it was Rain. I think it was Rain, and it came on Reddit while we were having our discussion, Robert, Harstem, and I, and it came up on Reddit oh, Rain was streaming, and Robert said, oh, hey, Rain's streaming, and he said, oh, I guess I know what you're going to be doing for the next couple hours, and he's like, yeah, finishing my breakfast and going to train with 4GG, and I was like, and he was like, not the answer you were expecting, huh? Was it? And I had a small little moment of that's a really good point. It's very easy to find little excuses not to train or not to get work done or not to do the things that you want to do, especially with something oh, well, it's very easy justification to say, well, Rain's a really good player and he's going to be streaming, so I could watch him and learn some stuff from his stream. And while that's somewhat valuable, right, because I don't think this is a closed argument the Harstem way is definitely the best way. I don't think that's necessarily the case. But while that, that's there, sure. But he's streaming, so is he really going to be showing his best strategies? Probably not. Not 100% sure, but probably not, because he's a smart player and he doesn't want to, you know. But he's going to play games, and people want to watch him play games, and he's going to, sort of cash in on that. Not really cash in, like make money, but just sort of, gain popularity and things like that. So he's going to train. Harstem's just going to train and do what he was planning on doing anyway, and not be distracted by this stream where there'll be dead time in the middle of the games and all that kind of stuff. He's got to train and become better at StarCraft. And I think that was awesome. I do think that it's opened sort of the discussion in my mind about someone's really good at StarCraft and they come on. Do I watch them, and try to learn from them and become a better player? Or do I just train like I had planned to do? Because I think that for someone who's in, I don't know, in like Diamond League and below, I hate to put leagues on things, but it's like there's no other way of sorting skill that everyone knows about, so or that even exists. But Diamond League below, probably maybe Masters and below, like it's kind of a no-brainer to me. It's sort of like, yeah, you should just be playing the game. If you want to get better, if you're taking a serious approach to StarCraft, you want to get better, you should be playing the game. There's absolutely the stuff that you gain from watching Rain at like a lower level is nothing compared to the things that you gain from practicing, which is the number one pitfall for most players, most lower level players, is that they just don't play the game enough, because you can know everything that you want to know and it doesn't matter because you can't execute it. And it's also very frustrating because you know what to do, or you think you know what you're supposed to do, and you can't execute it. So I think that getting those mechanics up is not only super important to becoming a better player, but it's also super important to enjoying the game, because you want to be in that situation where you have super solid mechanics, use all your hotkeys, your control groups, your camera location hotkey, everything. Everything is in place. You use it, it's fluid, it's wonderful. And then it says, oh yeah, Snoot's got this new swarm host style. I want to try it out. And you can move right into it, It's like being able to sight read as a musician. If you have excellent sight reading skills, when a new song comes along, you just sight read it, then you work through your problem areas and you're done, Not like in other cases, if you're not such a good sight reader, you have to play the piano or the guitar or whatever, and okay, this is how this goes, and sing it and memorize it, and then, oh yeah, there it is, So yeah, so I think that was really interesting. I was interested in what you all think. So you're a WCS Premier League player, and one of the best players of your race comes on to stream. Is it more beneficial for you to take time out of your practice to watch that player's stream? Or is it better to just practice? And you're only watching the stream because you are making an excuse to not practice because you don't want to. Go.